I built this ground level deck in front of this sauna that I built here on YouTube. I'm going to show you how we tackled this huge tree and rock, and I'm going to share lots of tips and tricks with you, as well as make plans available for download. We built this sauna here a couple years ago at our off-grid retreat, and we've been using it constantly. But we did borrow the steps here from the Goodland hot tub for the last couple of years, and it's long overdue that we have a deck in front of this building. We haven't even started yet, and we've run into our first hiccup. Part of the problem of living near the end of a big long road. It's definitely easiest to order material and ship it to yourself, but sometimes you can get really good deals and stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Like I got all these stones for 130 bucks, and I just had to rent a U-Haul trailer and pick it up myself. These weigh probably 90 to 100 pounds each. But if you get them up on end, you just move them like Stonehenge. Scientists actually believe that they just walked the Easter Island statues over like that and then put them on a big hand cart. I've been busy unloading those stones. I haven't really looked around. And there was a storm here a little while ago. And unfortunately, we lost this guy. I was hoping he'd grow up to be big and strong like his brother. There's not really much holding this thing in. It looks like this one root. So I picked up those stones, and I also used the opportunity to pick up a load of gravel with this rental trailer. Kind of sketchy going down this hill. We don't really have gravel on the hill. The rest of the material we just had delivered, and that was just a lot easier, but it was kind of sketchy for them too, it looks like. The worst part, but maybe the most important part, eh? Before you plan your deck, you're going to want to survey the area and just kind of see what the ground is like, how big of a deck you want, and any obstacles that you might have to avoid. And then you get some rock solid plans, and then use those plans to get a materials list. This has been a long time coming, and it's about time we do it. But the reason I haven't done it is partly because of laziness, but also because it's just kind of a challenging build. There's rocks here, there's roots here. The biggest challenge is definitely this root. We can't cut it, or we don't want to cut it, because it's a big tree on a rock with not a lot of root structure visible anyways. I don't know that there's any roots going that way, so we definitely want to build around the roots. We don't want to cut into them, so building this deck is going to be a challenge, and hopefully I can share a lot of tips here on how to make a deck strong and proper, and maybe give you some tips and tricks that you can use for your own deck. I'm really not a pro at this stuff, so if you see me doing this, there's a good chance you can do it too. So just follow along. I find it so much easier to plan a deck build or any build by just drawing it out first. And I'm better at drawing on a computer than paper, so you can download plans for a deck that's 16 by 16 or 14 by 14 or 12 by 12. I made all of those available in the link below. Or you can just use this video as inspiration and just build off, you know, the top of your head. Up to you. If you're not building a deck, I think you'll still like this video too. I'm going to solve a lot of problems. We're going to do some cool stuff here. So this is the tent deck that we built a couple years ago, and it's built out of 2x6s, and it does deflect a little bit. So it's got a little bit of bounce. I'm going to build this one out of 2x8s because they'll deflect less. I'm basically going to decrease the space between footings as well.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
No, right there, down right there.
This is the ultimate test to see if I did a good job waterproofing this building.
One.
Hey, cool. You need some money?
Money.
There you go. Okay, you gonna go get me some more? Okay, we've got some with the money. All right, so the idea is I'm gonna move some organic matter basically, because it's kind of soft and I want to pack in some more gravel. And I'm not going super deep. You should go about a foot. If you're gonna do a ground level deck, try to go down a foot. I'm just going to take the approach of do what I can and fix it in 5 years. The hot tub got its steps back because I'm working on this. So I've got to scribe this board out. I've never done anything like this before. So I moved this board over by this much. And I'm just going to find level and then draw a line and then move my way down. Keep this board level. Draw a line from that point again. Basically follow the points. And then I might cut it higher so that it's just off the rock a bit. The plan for this deck is to hang joists on a rim joist using joist hangers. I'm just going to double up these rim joists so that I can span them longer without as many footings. And then basically all the other boards are just going to hang off that. So got one footing there, doubled up this beam, another footing there, and I might add one right there. I'm going to be doing 3 of these doubles just so I don't have to put as many footings between them. That one's going to be the trickiest one, the one with the tree root. And then this one is going to look like this, but just be shorter. So I got to figure that one out next. We've been sleeping in this tree house, which has been a lot of fun, but it suddenly rained on us, which we weren't expecting, so it's delaying our work a little bit. I often end up building alone, but I really do love when I get help. It's just so much faster, and it's just fun kind of bouncing ideas off of other people that know what they're doing. We're still in the framing step here, but we're just laying out some deck boards just to get an idea of what we're going to do for framing. And just to let you know, for the decking, we're actually going to be using pressure treated, but we're going to use a hidden fastener, and that's going to make it look a lot more premium and just be great under bare feet, especially outside of a sauna. Got this big root here that is probably my biggest challenge with this deck build. And I originally scribed out this root and just cut this big piece out. So because this root is in the way, I'm gonna make the deck shorter than it could be. The deck could be basically out to here, but I can't because the root's so big. But the boards are running this way, and the boards can span 16 inches in free space. So I figure, why not just cut this right out? So I can cut this here, cut that there, make basically a box there that sits on supports, and then my deck board will span around 16 inches. Sometimes it'll be a bit more, sometimes less. And then I can make more framing basically this way. Let's try it. Wish me luck. Again, this is a new experience for me. I've never done anything like this, but I think it's working out. I'm basically kind of dry fitting it here, and I'm gonna cut the ends off when I realize how long they need to be. So I'm gonna glue them up and then I'll cut them. I was told that you can't put Ryobi tools in a Milwaukee case, but they totally fit, so I don't know where that info came from, but it's wrong. I know joist hangers can be kind of an expensive part of a project like this. I was super lucky to score this a huge lot of joist hangers and other strong ties for 50 bucks, which is like a quarter of the price that I would have paid new. Stuff like that really helps with savings and cost cutting. And the deck's really coming together. I still need to do some more work here. There's clearly some more bracing that needs to be put in place, but it's fun to be able to walk up here and kind of get a feel for what it's going to be like. We ordered a load of wood chips to use as paths and around the new deck, and once again, the wet weather kind of made it difficult for the delivery driver. He had to drive over his own pile of wood chips. I feel bad, but I gave him an option to dump it somewhere else, and he thought he could do it. I had a hard time with an impact driver to hammer in this this Tapcon. This is like an old school impact driver. Good enough, I'll be able to put a board on that. So I'm at this really tricky spot where the deck rim joist stops because of this root, and then it's going to start again. And what I'm going to do basically is use the laser level to just basically lay joists across, and then I'm going to just use lots of blocking. Using this laser level here. This is kind of a cheap one. You can get this just on Amazon. I'll link to it below, but it's been working really great. I'm just putting this like this just to give this board a bit more support, but I'm going to screw it in because as this grows, I don't want to have to pry nails out, but I can unscrew the deck boards and then just unscrew this and cut around or whatever else. But trying to plan ahead, put way too much cut and seal on this. So this part of the deck here only has like a 5-foot span and it's 2x8s. So I don't think I need blocking here. But this part is a bit bigger. It's almost 7 feet, like over 7 feet. This is where we're going to be stepping down onto the deck. So I will be putting some blocking in here. Here's a little tip when blocking, you don't need to actually measure the space. You could just take the board and line it up and draw a line. Work smarter, not harder. Blocking is crazy. It's really taking the bounce out of this deck here, but I'm going to add more anyways. You can see I have some here next to the tree trunk, but everywhere where I've like cut the framing just to give it a bit more rigidity, and that way I'm sharing the load with the other joists. So if you step there, the load's not just going right here, it's also being shared through this joist and the other ones. So I've got this whole side done, and it's lots of like arts and crafts basically to get it done. Ready to work on the other side, and then the framing's done. I can start taping and building and decking, and it's gonna be great. I wanted to feature this rock here as part of the deck. So I could have built the deck higher. I could have built it above the rock and make it basically exit the sauna level with the sauna door. But we didn't really want this visual obstruction here. So I built it as low as I possibly could. And it is a little bit off the ground near the deck, and then it basically morphs into this rock here, which I think is a really cool feature. This is the sauna that I built here on YouTube, and the deck is going to be right in front of this. I made meticulous plans to build this sauna, and many of you have been asking for those plans, and they're finally available. So you can download those in the link below. You'll see a link to those. They're for purchase, but they took a long time to make, and they're very detailed. It goes from basically every stud to the inside to all the little details in there. So check those out if you're interested. If you have any questions, definitely message me. Check this out. I've got this solar panel here running into this battery. Got about 83 watts out of a 100 watt solar panel. It's not bad. And it's kind of keeping up with what I'm doing. I started actually the day at 62, I think. And this is way better than using a generator. Gotta tell you that. Doesn't this tree look incredible? Because this is like a ground level deck, you can totally frame with 2x4s. And I'm basically gonna use this rock as a footing. Basically I wanna find a spot on the rock that's the width of a 2x4, and that ends up being almost the center. I need to build a step for going into the sauna. Now basically all I'm gonna do is build another little deck on top of this deck. It'll sit right on the framing, and then the rest of the decking can go here. Never seen the sauna from this angle. It's all framed up and it's ready for decking. Everything's hot. Drill's hot, I'm hot. it's all done. The lake looks good though. Definitely just gonna clean up, jump in the lake, and go to Burger King. Joist tape. The general consensus is that if you tape the top of your joists, they don't trap water and then they just last longer. The idea is that when your deck boards start to fail, your frame underneath will be still in good condition, so you can just use new deck boards and refresh your deck. I just want to show you which way you're supposed to install deck boards. This was confusing to me. It seems like you should install the grain this way because it's kind of like a rainbow shape and it feels like the rain will run off of it. That just feels right, but you should actually put the cup like this. So this would be like the bark side of the tree is down. What happens when it gets wet is this part buckles up just the way the grain is. And it basically crowns the board when the board gets wet, and then rain can run off. Unfortunately, the first board that I had to lay down is going to be a tricky one because I have to scribe around this tree trunk. So I made this little jig with a nail, basically the same depth as a board, and then I'm just going to use that and run it kind of along the tree bark and draw a line. After all that, it looks a little goofy, so I am going to cut this a bit wider, and then hopefully that just goes nicely into that board there. So far, I'm really liking this camo fastener system. Not just because you can't see the fasteners, but because it's pretty foolproof, which means even somebody like I can do it. You just drop the screws in, and they're designed, I don't know if you can see this, but they're not like a point, like a normal screw. They're kind of like this spade, kind of like scrapey bit. There's probably a better term for the scrapey bit than scrapey bit. Instead of pointing into the wood and like splitting the grains, it kind of like bores a hole. So you're not actually supposed to put a lot of pressure. You're supposed to let the screw kind of just bore a hole, and then you don't get these splits. It means some of them take longer than other ones, but you really don't want to put a lot of pressure on. I was so impressed with this camo system that I actually reached out to Camo after, and they were kind enough to partner with me on this video. I know I can be really authentic about this though. This was way better than face screwing deck boards. Just the usability of it, let alone the finished product. Obviously, it looks way better than seeing screws all over the top of your deck, but it's just so simple. Let me show you how this works. I basically used the Marksman Pro X1, which is meant for pressure treated wood. It sets the perfect gap between the boards, and then you just drop the screws in and go for it. And you really don't see the screw hole after. Like, it's just such a small little hole, and when you're standing on the deck, you really don't see it, and it just feels so premium. Basically, since using this product, I've been telling everybody to stop face screwing their boards. This is just way easier. It's worth the extra tiny investment. The end product is just way nicer, but it's not just about that. It's the ease of install. I was blown away, and I'm super happy with it. I just stepped on these boards that were not screwed down. That was a close one. So far, it seems like every board is bent this way. Makes me think it's not the boards, and it's actually just my original line is a little off, but I ran a line, and no, the boards are bent. And I'm shooting them straight by bending them, so I don't know. I'm not even half done, and these guys are already making use of the deck. This is already pretty rewarding. Oh, I should probably mention, I was originally going to use cedar for decking. That was just kind of always the plan because the cedar is pretty premium. But I ended up deciding to do pressure treated, and one of those reasons was because I knew this would be kind of a high traffic area and it would just kind of get stained by pine needles and stuff, and I really didn't want to baby the deck. So pressure treated it is, and the way I made it kind of feel premium is, again, with these hidden fasteners. It really gives it this premium look, and you never know it was kind of a cheap pressure treated deck. So I had the forethought to run some wire from the light switch inside out of the building, and it's just kind of hanging on there's like a bug netting or critter netting underneath the framing of the sauna. So it's sitting down there, and I almost framed this in. I forgot that I did that. So I'm gonna go down there and pull the wire out just so that it's accessible, because once I put this back, there's no way I'm gonna get that wire. And I don't really have a use for it yet, but if I ever want to do like deck lights or something, it's there. So yeah, gonna grab that before I bolt this down. So I'm at the fun part here where I've got to scribe this edge of the deck to the rock. I think when a deck follows a natural object like a rock, it just really looks intentional, and I think it'll look really nice. But I've never done this. My plan is just to lay out all the boards, draw a line, and they're going to overhang the back over there. And then basically I'm going to line them up to where they should be, screw them down, and then just cut the back end off in a straight line, and just focus on this one. I just rode here on my motorcycle, took the day off, and rode here because it's gonna be a nice day and I really want to finish this deck up before the weekend. So I'm going to just tidy a few things up, put some deck boards down, maybe build some steps, and at least deck this part here. But it's kind of, it's got a little bit of bounce right here. So I think I'm gonna add a footing here while I can. Just kind of dig it out, throw some gravel down, throw a paver down, and put a block to size, and hopefully that just takes out a little bit of bounce where people kind of land on the step and then on the deck. This is going to go way closer to the building, but I'm going to keep it off a bit so I can put the first board against the building and then add all the screws. So I'm done the top of the deck, and it feels really good. And now I'm working on the actual steps to get up into the deck. On this side, we're gonna have just like a single step here, or an L step. And there's only one step, which is gonna be nice. I might have to fill in the ground a little bit here. And the other side is just gonna be a single step too. They're gonna be 4 boards wide, so nice and wide. You could like sit on them, or stand on them, or put your shoes on them. The reason for the L here is so that we can go down and get wood from the wood storage over there. It'll just kind of like wrap around the deck nicely. I'm just gonna cut these pieces and just nail them together. I might toenail some spots, but it's just gonna be nailed together. If I ever need to rebuild these, you know, there's no risk of somebody falling through here or something like that. So just quick and easy steps. That's the plan. Next time I come, I just have to finish these steps up, and the deck's done. It feels good. And this part worked out really well. It's really nice being able to finally just walk into the sauna without having to go up steps. It's just the best. So I'm finally working on the last little bit of this deck, and it's just 6 deck boards. Super pumped about it. I picked up the 6 deck boards. Some of them are ugly, but whatever. I just need to finish this thing. So here's what to do if you don't really trust your level to be level. You could use another level to compare it against, but this is a way better move. Because the earth is flat, you could just check it on the water. Oh yeah, she's good.
Did you see that weirdo checking the level of the water?
Yeah, humans really are a little loony.
Oh, come on.
These are those paver stones that you saw earlier. Now that the deck's done, we're gonna lay them out and kind of make a nice little pad or path from the deck down to the hot tub. This is one of those tasks that you never really feel like you're really laying them out the right way, and it's just a bunch of trial and error and just kind of giving it an aesthetic eye, and hopefully it looks good in the end. Katrina and I just laid these down with some gravel and sand to level them out, and then we're going to fill it in with the wood chips. We are super thrilled with how this turned out. We actually built this a couple months ago, and it's been basically kind of a place of congregating for everybody. It's like the new spot. So it's seen a lot of traffic. It's been walked on, eaten on, been stuff spilt on it. It's just been like really heavily used, and it's just been such a great way to enjoy this space. I really like that the vision and design for this worked out in the final product, from the scribing details to hiding the actual footings behind steps, so it just gives it this floating deck feel. Overall, the deck took 13 days to build, and this is only evenings and weekends. We built this in the spring before we kicked off the summer here, and it cost 2,278 Canadian dollars. That's around 1650 US. It really makes having a sauna way more enjoyable. It also makes just a great spot to lounge on some chairs or to stage before swimming or hot tub. We've even set up a tent on it and camped. We should have built this a long time ago, but at least it's built now, and we can enjoy it for years to come.